Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another One Piece manga review. This week, we're reviewing chapter 1026, The Turning Point, Tenozen, The Turning Point. And my name is Lynden Burton. I'm joined by my co-host, as always, Mr. Christian Hollinger. Christian, how you doing this week? It's been a while. I feel like it's been a while since we've talked about One Piece.
It's been a while. You know, One Piece is one of those magnanimous pieces of culture where when Oda goes on a break for a week, it feels like it's on a break for a month.
It seems like we're on like drug withdrawals, like because I'm literally checking every day on Twitter for chapter spoilers, and what a good week for chapter spoilers. Because when I found this one out, I was like, wow. Last week's chapter or 2 weeks ago's chapter, I guess it was okay. It was just Momo flying up through everything, showing everybody he's a dragon. But this week's chapter, thumbs up.
I'm gonna make a reference to that because I'll save that for later. But that was built upon Momo flying through the castle. Something that I mentioned in a past review got built on with that. So, yeah.
But you ready to get started?
I'm ready.
How this works is we do it quickly. I give a quick. I give a quick. I'm not editing that out. Y'all are gonna get the Freudian slip. That's a Freudian slip if I ever did see one. So we do a quick review. Then Christian and I go through each part of the chapter and break it down extensively, give our theories and thoughts for what's to come. And yeah, that's how we do it. So let's start off with a quick brief summary. So the chapter starts off with a pretty cool cover story. We see Nami and Leo making clothes for Minx, and I like that the image of it is basically Peckham's. Like it reminds me of how Peckham's look, and it just shows how even though this is a requested cover story, it just shows Nami had a little bit of love for Peckham's. Peckham saved the Straw Hats, so let's show a little love. But this chapter starts off with Hitetsu and Toko in the flower capital during the Fire Fest. He's thinking of Otama, like, is she safe? And thus giving us a chance to see that, Onigashima, pretty close over the Fire Capital. Right. It's basically there. I understand that from that distance from him, it looks like a couple of miles, but it's essentially almost over. And if the clouds weren't covered, I'm pretty sure they would be able to see the flower. They would be able to see Onigashima. So we see that. We go back on the roof. Momo and Kaido are staring at each other. Queen's like, what's this other dragon? And Kaido's like, I don't give a damn about this. Boro left. Momo dodges it. Luffy tells Momo to do something. Momo's like, huh? What? Luffy goes up and Gear Third punches Kaido to the ground. Momo remembers what Luffy told him. Momo starts thinking of all the bad shit that Kaido's done to him, from killing his dad, killing his mom, holding him over the top, threatening him to throw him down. And you know what? Momo says, you know what? Fuck this. He does what Luffy says and bites Kaido. Bites him. Kaido screams like, what is this? What are you doing, brat? And Momo bites him. Kaido's getting ready to strike, but then Luffy comes up. Bow punches him with, I guess, a Rio hockey fist. We'll talk about that. I don't even know if he makes connection. Might have been Conqueror's hockey. Luffy's kicking butt right now. Strikes Momo, and Luffy tells him, Momo, go save the Flower Capital from Onigashima. We're going to dive into that because if you know, we've been talking about that for a while on this show. Yep. We then get flashes to Nekomamushi and Inarashi's battle. They've been taken out because the moon's covered, and they've gone out of Sulong form. Jack and Perospero are talking big shit. Luffy is then fighting Kaido. We see that we see a little Zoro and Sanji. Like, whoa, is that Momo? Is Momo going to save the Flower Capital? Because Bao Huang's getting all of this. Luffy then says, I'll definitely beat Kaido, and everybody gets enthused by this. Kid basically says, you freaking better. Law's like, where the hell have you been? Everybody's going badass. And then Luffy and Kaido conquer, strike, punch. And we finally get another prediction we said was needed to happen. The sky splits. The sky splits. We see the moon. And then Sulong, both Nekomamushi and Inarashi come out. And basically one-shot Jack and Perospero. They're out of the fight. We then see Orochi in the side like, y'all You're kidding? Even Jack was defeated? Wait, no, that's not my problem. I don't care anymore. Chapter ends, no break. What a chapter, Christian. Where do you want to begin, my friend?
Let's begin at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So I love the way that Oda clearly delineates this sense of looming dramatic
I
irony.
love
You know,
it.
we have again the people in Wano having the time of their lives, and yet
Even
the
though Hitetsu's like not look like he's looking like something's about to happen, even though
well,
he's
Hitetsu's
worried about
right,
Tama, it's still like it goes to that point of you saying about the looming over. Like, does he
right.
know something more? Is it just Otama? What is it?
Well, I think that essentially everyone who is currently in Wano celebrating right now is literally civilian level. Wano,
Mm-hmm.
not like Zoe, where even the youngest kid who's innocent is actually a trained warrior. You
Yep.
know, not all like that. So I think that everyone who is willing and able to fight is on Onigashima, which means that no one who's currently in Wano's flower
Knows
capital
about anything.
has any kind of danger perception even. Like I don't even think they would be able to sense Kaido if he was right above them.
True.
So Hitetsu, on the other hand, I'm not saying that he has observation hockey or he has developed, danger perception, but if he is a famed, well, not if, we know he's a famed swordsmith. So if you're going to be around famed swords, creating famed swords, you're able to assess swordsmen like
Mm-hmm.
Zoro,
You
then it
knew he
makes
was
sense
able to
that he
handle
can
those
probably, yeah,
blades. Yeah.
he probably has some kind of development where he knows something isn't necessarily right in addition to, okay, I don't know what's going on with Tama. So it is interesting to see, like what is Hitetsu's fascination with raising, young women, like how did Toko specifically find him? Now, I mean, it's easy to kind of headcanon that, the
Mm-hmm.
Straw Hats found the Allies brought Toko because Zoro said to Hiyori, Toko's safe physically. She's with, the crew. I can't speak for her mental health. So they got her to Hitetsu. She seems to have that father figure again. So she's smiling. She's always smiling, but she seems to be enjoying herself. So that did warm my heart, but I was glad to see some more Hitetsu and to see that he's someone whose head isn't in the clouds, pun intended. He's
Mm-hmm.
kind of grounded. So we move straight on into, I don't know if this is Bao Huang, because isn't that like a little like
Yeah.
pearl
See,
or
that's the
squirrel?
thing. I don't think it is Bao Huang. Now that you say that, I
It's
was
one of
looking
the
back at.
network.
It's one
Yeah,
of the Marys. Let's just say
yeah,
that it's one of the Marys who do the communication.
right. So we have, Momo versus Kaido again.
I'm
Again,
so not to cut you off, but I'm so happy Oda squashed that what everybody was saying. Like people were worried, like I'm gonna drop One Piece if Momo fights Kaido. I'm gonna do this. Like, bro, y'all are idiots if you thought Momo was gonna fight Kaido. We
right.
told y'all for 4 weeks straight, don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Christian, I'm
Well,
so happy a lot of what we've been saying has been validated in this chapter.
you have to understand every fandom has intellectuals and people who, for lack of better words, are kind of brain dead, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know where I've been, but I used to really believe that One Piece was like devoid of that stereotype and that we're all intellectuals over
Thought that
here.
with My Hero for a little bit was proven wrong
Well,
quickly.
My Hero has different issues. They have
Yeah.
intellect, but they have a completely different issue with their fandom. We're not going to get into right
All
now, but
fandom has toxicity everywhere.
every single one of them. But you have to understand the same people who were talking about dropping One Piece over 1,000 chapters in if Momo fights Kaido, which we all knew wouldn't really happen, are the same people who read Hitetsu tell Zoro that Emma brings the Rio out of its wilder and said
Thought it
Odin
was
is giving Zoro Rio from beyond the grave. Like you can't help certain people.
yeah, you just can't.
You just gotta let them do what they do. So I was pleased here because again, we do get Momo versus Kaido, but not really.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna go a little bit more in
We
depth in
just
that.
get him. We get him
Those
facing his fears essentially.
right,
This.
Right.
This is Momo showing, hey, I'm growing up. Like Momo's growing up before our eyes just
Right.
by squaring off in Kaido and dragon form. Because like the Momo we met in Punk Hazard would have never.
Right. Yeah. So it's nice again because we see, thematically Momo matches Kaido, but he's slowly working his mental acuity up to something more like Luffy and Kaido's.
Mm-hmm.
This is where it gets interesting. I was very concerned when Kaido starts to use borrow breath, and Luffy's like, "Yeah, use yours too." I was like, "Please don't, please don't." And Momo was like, "What? I can't do that. Thank you." Okay.
Even him dodging is a feat. Like people don't realize that.
And that's what I wanted to get to. I will buy the dodge. One, I love the fact that it was dodged the way that he dodged it by
Mm-hmm.
spiraling. That's exactly how it should happen. I am a little bit curious as to how Momo became so competent at flying because now this is not something I'm going to nitpick
That's something you
too
got to
much.
suspend your disbelief for.
Yeah, I'm gonna suspend my disbelief. I'm not, I wasn't reading this chapter and
But
being
the
like, oh,
Boro breath, if he would have shot it back at him, you couldn't have suspended your
I
disbelief.
would have been like,
Like
okay, there's a problem there. But
Oda knew. Oda was like, I'm gonna give Momo a feat. People might be upset at it, but it's better than anything else I could have done.
I mean, is that? I mean, I'd even buy Momo tanking the black
Oh, you think? Ooh,
only
because of the scales.
he's a dragon himself. So he's
Yeah.
kind of like Frankie, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
Frankie, to our knowledge, doesn't have armament hockey, but his
But he can
front
tank it. Yeah.
steel in general, Frankie is an entire Gundam made of
Mm-hmm.
steel. So
Well,
it's
I'm
like
glad you
Mihawk,
do that though, because like that people,
yeah.
me and you would have been okay with it, but people would have been arguing their
I mean,
ass off.
it happens, but I'm not saying like when I say tank, I don't mean like no damage. I mean
Oh, okay.
Momo would be damaged, but
Falling,
he would
getting
be able to get back up. And I'm saying, well, he is an adult dragon. It's kind of like an adult human can probably take a punch from a
from.
boxer. It's
Yeah.
gonna hurt like hell if they're not trained, but it's not like you're gonna kill him. Where like a trained boxer hits like a second grader, you might
Yeah.
actually kill the kid,
Yeah.
like literally. So he has an adult body. So I buy the feat, right? Then again, he's still grounded. He's trembling while he's saying, remember, I'm in no position to fight. So this is where I get interested, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. So Luffy, one of the traits that I love about Luffy and consistently about Luffy is that Luffy makes the people around him Chads as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Luffy said, I'm not going to lift a finger to help you, Kobe, until you tell Alvida off.
Mm-hmm.
And when Kobe does, then Luffy handles the rest. Luffy tells Momo, back in Zoe, look, all these great samurai have pleaded their case, and I want to help them, but
But you
you are
got
apparently the leader, and you haven't said anything. So it's Luffy treating Momo like a man when not even the scabbards will treat him like a man in the same way. And even they've noticed, like Luffy really respects Momo for what he can be, not just what he currently is. So my question here is, Luffy does this again. He brings out the best in Momo. But my question is, do you think that he told Momo to bite Kaido solely so that he could say later, Momo, you just bit a Yonko. Does anything else scare you? Or do you think that that is a byproduct of future sight, where Luffy
mm,
peered into the future and saw, if I get Momo to bite Kaido or to attack Kaido, Kaido won't take Momo seriously at all. So much so that Kaido will get distracted, allowing me to hit him, which would be an homage to Odin and Kaido, where Kaido used a distraction to take advantage of
mm.
Odin. But in this case, Luffy's not trying to one shot him. Like it's not like Luffy went into Snake Man and tried to end it by distracting Kaido, and then the way that Kaido.
Yeah. Ooh,
But
that's a great question. I'm trying
yeah,
to, and he looks focused. Um, I'm gonna say it's a little bit of both. I think Luffy was doing his thing that Mihawk said, but I also think Luffy is using future sight at this point to be ready to dodge in case, because you got to think he's on guard. He's fought Kaido twice. He
right.
needs to be ready. He's Momo's with him. It's no bullshit. So I'm going to believe it's the future sight, but it's also what Mihawk said. I think it's both.
I think it has to be a little bit of both as well. Because again, when I said that, it was like, well, future
That's a great question, though.
future sight is not the future, like we said, or like rather instead of like we said, as Oda said through Beige, Katakuri sees a possibility, but every person has a unique ability to change that possibility.
Mm-hmm.
So future sight is not actually seeing the future; it's seeing the plausible future
What
if
happens? Yeah.
what happens. But does that mean that if Luffy mentally image and say, okay, if I throw a right punch, then I will use future sight and I'll see that Kaido will dodge to the right. But if I were to throw a left punch and use future sight, then I would see that Kaido would dodge to the left. So it's like your future sight would change depending on what your intention is, right?
Yeah. That's what I would assume.
So could it be, and that's why I'm saying like maybe it's both. Maybe Luffy saw that Kaido gets distracted and he lands a blow, but then he's like, how do I accomplish that? So
Is
he's like,
that,
hey
yeah.
Momo, I have an idea, try this.
That's what I think it is.
But I'm cool with either one. If Luffy solely said that because he said, look, you're scared, but if I get you to act on your instinct immediately and not think, then you'll realize, holy crap, I did bite a Yonko. I did attack the guy who killed my
Mhm.
father, my mom.
Now I can
I
fly.
successfully did it. I can do anything. So it's
Yep.
like I completely buy that that's not future sight at all, and that this was all just Luffy doing exactly what he did in episode 1 with Kobe, and he's done with I think he's done. I can't remember all the precedents, but
So
he's
many
done
people.
to a lot of people where he's like, I'm not going to,
Shirahoshi.
yeah, until you do something, and
Mm-hmm.
then after you do that, I got you. So I definitely appreciated that moment. Um, again, I
I,
just want to bring this
I
up.
love Momo seeing everybody, seeing all the past thing Kaido's done to him and growing. Like,
Yeah,
that needed to happen. Like, this dude has done so much shit to you. Yeah, go bite him. You're strong enough.
and well, I'm gonna save this for the end because that's just my joke reference as I always do. But
Mm-hmm.
for right now, the other thing that's also interesting is that you had Kaido. You said Kaido was like yelling out in pain. I'm interested because like when I read this panel, I'm like, okay, I get it. Like Momo is a legitimate dragon, right? So if he bites, it should hurt, right? But coincidentally, how many people have made Kaido make that face thus far?
A lot.
Well, I mean, a lot, but like what tier though? Like we're talking
Oh,
Law,
yeah.
Kid, Killer, Luffy,
Zoro, Yamato.
Zoro. So it's like ironically, Momo, who has no business making Kaido make this face, made him make this face. And so I said, okay, well, he is an adult dragon and a
And
legit,
Kaido quickly went back to like,
and he quit. But then I said, think about it. Wouldn't you react to that if someone bit you and you weren't?
yeah, and you were exactly. No, like, I
It's
don't
not
think this is a
necessarily
feet
pain;
thing.
it's
Yeah,
shock. Like Kaido was, he was like, "Ow!" Like, what? Wait, what?
like,
And then
ow,
he goes,
what the,
"What
even
are
if
you
a
doing?"
mosquito bites me, I say ow. Like,
Right,
and like Momo could be like, that's how you gotta look at it. Like, a
right.
wasp and a bee are small, they bite, it hurts, but I
Yeah,
slap them, they're
and
out of here.
it's done. Right.
Yeah.
So when I first read that panel, I was like, wait, what? Kaido's in pain, and then I was like, oh no, that's just shock. I mean, we
Yeah.
can see in this panel with the chop, we see that it's actually Momonosuke who has the wiggle lines, which means that
Hmm.
Momo's
It hurt
teeth probably
him.
hurt. His gums and teeth probably hurt because
Facts.
Kaido's scales are impervious
But he
practically.
did break them though, which is cool.
Right. So I did still appreciate the way that Oda has it, and then he has Luffy come in carrying the big guns, and then dismisses Momo, which is nice because it's like, here you go, here's a Momo feat, here's more development, so that you can understand that by the end of Wano, Momo will be a Shogun
Shogun. Yep. Now,
entity.
was that a Conqueror's hockey punch or was that a
Absolutely.
normal punch? Okay, absolutely.
Like to me, like it's not even just that like the art style of that is the same art style from I think 1010 when he was fighting
Hmm.
1v1 on the roof. Secondly, it doesn't make sense for Kaido to tell him when they were 1v1ing, yeah, the top tiers fight with Conqueror's hotkey
And him
coding,
not
and
to use it
the
anymore.
superior ones can do it. And Luffy does it and then is like, oh yeah, I'm going to come back and not use Conqueror's hockey when I hit you.
Hmm.
Every hit from now on, even if Oda doesn't necessarily draw the effects that he's drawing here,
It's
I'm gonna
gotta be.
assume Luffy's using Conqueror's hockey. So it's either
Because
gonna have that or
normally
that
when
trail.
Luffy punches, we see the connect. Like
Right.
or we see his arm repelling, and we don't see either of those. We see his arm forward, i.e., that he threw a
Yeah.
Conqueror's hockey punch. So
Right.
also to all of those people saying Yamato did better against Kaido than Luffy, that split the sky moment's coming. And I just want y'all to know Yamato ain't split no sky.
No, I mean, like what they're saying is at first, feet wise, Yamato I think fought Kaido 1v1 longer than anyone else.
But also, Kaido didn't fight. No one can make me believe that Kaido fought Luffy at the same caliber that he fought Yamato. He fought
No,
Luffy
no,
hard. He tried
no,
to
no,
kill.
no. I definitely agree. Like one, even though I did say that I think Kaido's holding back, and then Kaido denied that literally the next week, where he's saying like, "Yeah, I am trying to kill you." Even then, there's delineations to that. Like, if you like, let's say you're an assassin and you get a contract kill, that's just business, right? But you
Mm-hmm.
are trying to kill that person. But if you just had your wife and kids brutally murdered in
That's a
front of
different type of killing.
you, still want to kill that person, but you're going to be at a completely different level. So beating
Exactly.
up Yamato could have been annoyance, where he's like, you know what, I'm just going to end this. Beating up Luffy,
It's like, no, I gotta kill this
you
guy.
I'm going to like. I think he said after he dropped Luffy, and this is what I'm going to get to with the Momo thing. I should have shown your severed head,
Yep.
or something. Like he said something like that, where it's like, no, I didn't just want to like drown you in the ocean. And
No,
it's
I
like,
want
oh,
to ruin you.
I wanted to, I like wanted to show off like your dead body.
I want to shatter everyone's hope. Yeah,
Right.
and that's different than when he's fighting Yamato. So I don't want to hear anything about Yamato's
Right.
time length anymore. Like,
So I mean, but there is credence to that by saying that, but then that's also being completely disingenuous to the fact that Yamato had how many fights before Kaido?
0.
She had like maybe 3 skirmishes,
She had
a hit on Ulti.
a hit on Ulti, a hit, 2 hits max on Sasaki before Frankie got there, and then fodder, which she honestly could have conquered hockey them out of the way. She chose to swing,
Right. So, with that being said, you're basically talking about a
whereas
fresh.
Luffy had to fight multiple
Luffy fought
people.
multiple people, and he can't like Yamato. For all we know, was chilling on Onigashima. Luffy
Mm-hmm.
can't. So it's completely different,
Yeah,
right? So I definitely don't think that. I definitely think that Yamato is definitely a parallel to Odin the way that I don't think that like she's gonna like jump ship like he did.
no, but I think like how
Like
Odin was on the pirate cruise
yeah,
ship, Scopper, Rayleigh, and
they were
Roger
already
was still
established powerhouse, and Odin came
exactly.
and kind of changed that dynamic. I think Yamato is gonna do the same thing.
And
Uh,
so shout out to you Sanji fans. We're still Scopper Gaban level. Don't y'all worry.
yeah. Um, so
I had to get that in somewhere.
I mean, it's there. We know nothing about Scopper yet, for the most part.
That's a
I
shot.
hope for
That's a
both
shot in
Christian.
itself.
No. I'm not even saying that. Like, I'm just saying, like, I hope he's strong as shit. I'm just saying, and that's a point for a
Yeah,
different. The point for a
that's a
different video.
yeah.
Uh,
But then next up, we see the moon is gone again. Also, which I think is interesting, we see Onigashima's eyes starting to crack a little bit.
so yeah, so I like that, but one thing I did not like too much is one this off screening of Inu and Neku because it seems way too wishy washy. Like Zoe comes around, we see that
We should
Jack
at least
in
see
his.
Inarashi versus Jack. Like,
Well, I mean, it's not even that. Like, I know,
We should
the
have saw
anime
that.
is going to extrapolate on that, so
True.
I'm not necessarily worried about that. And because the anime is so top tier right now, I know they're going to do it justice. I just don't like how each chapter it flips so badly, especially when the portrayal from the beginning has been so majorly in these Mink's favor. Like if you go back
Mhm.
to the show, Jack was in his Zoan form. He swings on Inu, and Inu catches his trunk casually. But
Like
you
hybrid makes this much of a difference. But
like you hybrid beats up Inu the moment he falls out of
We just
the
have to
Sulong
assume
form.
that because he fought Kaido and because he fought Jack before, I'm assuming he's tired. And Jack is like at least at 80%, whereas Inu's at like 50. That's what I'm gonna assume.
I mean, like that's my headcanon too, because that's how you make sense of it. But it still aggravates me to a degree because it's not me solely trying to power scale the minks. It's the
Mm-hmm.
way that the long transformation has been utilized. Like we know Perospero is so far above. I mean, I'm sorry.
So below.
I mean, Neku is so above Pero
Yeah.
that people said I would have lost to Carrot or Wanda in Sulong form. Like if you would have had luck and the moon stayed out, that would have been my ass. So it's
Like you
like
should have lost the non-Sulong.
how do you
Yeah.
not like first of all, so I could be completely wrong here, but I definitely have Inu and Neku beating almost anyone but maybe the top tier what do they call the people right beneath the
Oh,
Dukes?
oh man, second, you talking about the with Smoothie in them?
No, with the Minx.
Oh, the Three Musketeers.
The Musketeers. So like outside of the Musketeers going Sulong, I kind of feel like Inu and Neku in base form could probably beat almost Sulong any other mink because
Mm-hmm.
have them above, the rest of the minks by that level. I mean, they were trained by Odin on top of,
They were
being
on Whitebeard's crew
they're
too.
on Whitebeard. I mean, they're levels to this shit. So
Yeah.
it's I don't really buy that Perospero who
Pero.
wants to fucking Carrot or Wanda in Sulong form is going to lose to even an injured Neku because
Yeah.
Pero's already injured. It's
I
not
could
like Neku.
believe Inu. I could believe the Inu and Jack, but it's the
I
Perospero one.
Yeah, no, I can believe that too. And like I said, it is justified. A lot of people said that, they were done dirty because they end up one-shotting at the end.
Yeah.
But to my point, that's what I was saying. Neku is so much higher than Pero that it makes sense to me that he would one-shot him. But
Mm-hmm.
but then that then contradicts, like, well, then why didn't he one-shot him the moment he turned Sulong form the previous chapter?
Exactly.
So, I mean, I get it. Again, it's, Oda telling a story. He's padding out the time. He's still showing us some of it. But when I saw that and I saw how easily they dispatched them, it was kind of like, okay, well, why didn't y'all just do that from the beginning then? But it also pleases me because if you remember, I said that Perospero is commander level.
Yeah,
And
we
so he's
did.
getting being defeated with Jack that he's essentially a Jack
Third
tier.
command. Yeah, third
Yeah,
commander.
he's there, right? Like,
No Katakuri though. Get that out your head, Perospero, you bitch.
oh yeah, oh no, yeah, he's trying to run the Big Mom Pirates.
You're not even. You're
He's
Jack level,
technically
bro.
the oldest, but yeah, you're weak. It could be that Perospero didn't like I prophesized that Perospero didn't even want the commander level. It
Because
was
he thought
probably
it
all
was insulting. Yeah, to
it
be
was
the third.
probably insulted, or he wanted to be a strategist, or he wanted to be like Mama's, whatever.
First thing, I really believe if he wasn't first in command, he was like, "Fuck this."
Yeah, yeah. So I buy it, but at the same time, it was still kind of frustrating to see that
That is
apparently
a frustrating
Long
moment of
such
this. Yeah,
a difference. I get it; it's a transformation, but it's just hard for me to buy that they were losing to their
yeah.
opponents. Now, I
Especially
will
Wanda,
say,
especially Perospero, because I'm looking
yeah,
at Wanda and Carrot like, what?
right. Now, I will say for Jack actually having the title of commander, he has gotten terrible portrayal. Like he's just been a
Yeah,
rag this entire.
but it makes
Again,
sense why Queen and
yeah,
King always get on his ass,
right.
and
So
why they thought
it builds
why
the back.
Sasaki and Who's Who thought they should have been
Yep.
All Star as well. It makes a lot of sense. And
Yeah.
if you ask me, Who's Who might be stronger than Jack? Because
Oh,
I
I mean,
think I think Jinbei is stronger than Inu. And I'm just saying, Who's Who has looked better than Jack has so far. Now, Jack might be better at like big scale devastation like he did on Zoe. Like I don't think Who's Who could have did that. But in a one-on-one, I'm taking Who's Who over Jack.
let me think about that because like we don't have enough of who's who to like objectively say that panel wise,
Yeah, fair enough.
but That's interesting because I haven't thought about that yet. I definitely always knew that Sasaki and Who's Who, based on their attitudes, would be able to high diff Jack at minimum. They have a
See,
chance, right?
I don't think Sasaki anymore. Like now, based
I don't
upon
no no
this.
I don't think
Oh,
so
you're talking
either.
about
I don't
before?
think the arrogance of Who's Who
Yeah,
and Sasaki when they were introduced, they wouldn't be doing that if they didn't feel like they had a chance to beat someone. And Who's
true.
Who seemed to have been targeting Queen, not even Jack. So I'm thinking like maybe Sasaki knew he wasn't Who's Who level, so he was like, "Well, I can beat Jack."
Yeah, yeah. But
You have,
and
you have
see, that's
with
why I think
Queen,
Who's Who definitely got Jack. Because if he's going
right?
after Queen and just the way he fought Jinbei, I don't know if Jack could have fought Jinbei like that.
See, no, it's interesting because like Jack strikes me as like a large scale damage,
Exactly.
and Who's Who is a specialist. So I see Who's Who
Like
trying
Who's Who could
to
not have
realize
done what
it.
Jack did on Zoe, like
Right?
at
No, no,
all.
no,
Don't get
no,
it
no,
twisted.
no. But
But
like,
if he's fighting Inu one on one, I think he
yeah,
gives Inu a rougher time.
I mean, he's more of a technical fighter. Like I don't think like you look at Jack, right? Inu caught Jack's trunk in Zoe, and then
Mm-hmm.
paralleled that in Wano, where like Inu just threw Jack in the last chapter across like these buildings. It's like it seems like it's really easy to like grab Jack and
And
just like
throw him.
throw him and shit. So it's like okay, Jack doesn't seem to be a highly technical fighter. If you look back to the manga and the anime portrayals of Ashura fighting Jack, Jack was super slow, and Ashura is not like that fast because he's a big guy as well. But
Mhm.
Ashura was, I mean, just going circles around Jack, and Jack was just, oh, big muscles. I'm gonna swing, everywhere, and you have Ashura over here using technique, and he's just slashing Jack up. So Jack strikes me as just, big muscle. I'll just rampage like,
Run through things, yeah.
like yeah,
Juggernaut style.
yeah, he runs like Rhino from like Spider-Man.
Rhino's a way better example than Juggernaut. But that's what I'm just saying.
So
I think Who's Who is just a
I
little bit better.
I could see it. I would prefer Who's Who, but because Jack actually has the title, I do have to say that it is kind of disappointing how a commander went out. But we've seen commander level opponents go out like this before,
True.
so it's not that big of a deal. But he
Snack.
actually has the
I mean,
title.
not Snack. Cracker. Cracker.
Cracker, like I said, I think Perospero is obviously commander level. You can make arguments about, other people. So it's there, like Doflamingo, in my
Yeah.
opinion, commander level.
I think
Uh,
Doflamingo's stronger than Jack now too, man. If we're keeping it a bean.
I mean, not even like you could even make the argument, like even if he wasn't, he would still beat Jack because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Doflamingo was supposed to be stronger than Jozo during the war, but he effortlessly controlled Jozo during the war. So it's like I definitely see him controlling Jack with ease. Like
That's
I
what I'm
see
saying. Like
if he
Jack, this
even
this
kill
did
Jack,
Jack really bad, man. This
yeah.
did Jack super dirty.
Like I don't
This,
even see Luffy getting his hands dirty. Like he would be able to control Jack and make Jack like cut himself with his own
yeah.
sword. And I'm dirty myself with you, but
Whereas I don't see whereas I don't see Doflamingo doing that to Queen, King, Who's Who, or Katakuri. Like
I don't.
I think
Yeah,
yeah, I don't think they
no,
let them. I don't think they
none
let
of
that
them.
happen.
None of them. I mean,
So
King, just based off of the portrayal that I got when he disarmed Zoro, he might let Dofi do that just so he can yank the string and then like punch Dofi. Like he'll be like, "Oh, you grabbed me? Oh, excellent! Get over here!" And
yeah,
just
straight
like knock
Scorpion. Get
Domingo away.
over here.
Get over
He might
here,
even have a knife that he puts as like in his hand, like, because that's some king shit.
I would know what Katakuri would do. That would be,
Katakuri
hilarious.
would
Like
just mochi him to death, bro. Like,
he
get this shit
emotes him
out
to
of here.
death, but I'm meaning like I would just be fanboying over Katakuri, like answering stuff before Dofi even tries it. Like, he's like, Dofi, don't even try and control me. Like before Dofi even like moves a finger, and Dofi's like,
Yeah.
what? He was like, it's not gonna work. I'm just gonna turn into Mochi.
You had trouble with Straw Hat. I'm
Right.
greater.
He's like, oh, just go ahead and awaken. What? Yes, I already know you can do it, though. Come on. But yeah.
But
Uh,
next up, we got is just Luffy saying after that, doesn't all the stuff in the world seem less scary to you? And then
right.
we get a look at Zoro and Sanji like, oh wait, is that Momo? There's no way. And they're like, maybe.
Yep. So then this is the point that I already mentioned earlier. This is again more foreshadowing. Kaido knew he made a mistake when he sent Luffy off Onigashima. Did not kill him and tell everyone Hope is dead. Because immediately after that, when he gets back up, Momo gets aged. What happens? Momo essentially goes to every battlefield and flexes, I'm here, Luffy's alive. So now
Even
everyone has seen.
Kaido's face when Luffy says, "I'll definitely beat Kaido," it's all blacked out. Like fuck, I should
Right,
have ended this a long time ago. To your
right.
point,
Right. And now he's here, and it's clear that he's not just saying this. He's saying this loudly so that
and
he
it's a
can,
little different than before.
so this actually, this is complete tangent, but this actually reminds me of the theory that a lot of people think that Bello Betty is Luffy's mom. And
Oh
it's like
wow,
about how many times Luffy has been able with his actions to rouse up and inspire people. So not only was Momo coincidentally showing Luffy the hope of, Wano right now, or at least Onigashima right now, that Luffy's alive and well, but now Luffy is essentially on a loudspeaker yelling to all of Onigashima, I will defeat him. Like, don't lose hope. We're good. The war is turning on our side. I'm still here. We're good. So Kaido's probably pissed. He's like, fuck, like I should have killed Luffy.
yeah.
I'm sure Kaido's probably like, why isn't King, Queen, and Jack up here?
He's
Like,
he's he's probably
watching,
freaking out.
like they should have cleaned up
Where's
downstairs.
Big Mom? Like, nope.
Where's Big? Like, why am I still on the rooftop fighting? So he's probably, if he doesn't know how bad the tides are turning right now, it's probably starting to click. Luffy
Yep.
came all the way back up. Like I sent Luffy off of Onigashima. You mean to tell me this man
It's
climbed up
back up.
all the way back up to the rooftop unscathed and got back to me? What the hell
Hmm.
is going on,
And I
right?
love I love kids saying when Big Mom's like, you hear
Uh,
that with a rambunctious brat, and kids like, you better.
uh,
Oh, I don't know if that's a downer for kid. That might be
look,
because even
I've been
Law was
saying,
like, where the hell has he been? That made me
fine,
think kid looks bad.
finally. I've been saying this for forever. Wano is a freaking wake up call for Kid. This is like, look, I get it. Kid fans, I get it. But this is not the hill to die on. This
No,
is
it's not. I jumped off.
really,
I jumped off. I really did. I
it's
had to.
really not. Like, and I knew that before we got to Roof Piece. But when we got to Roof Piece,
It showed me everything I needed to know.
it was like, people ignore how many reaction panels Kid was in? Kid and Law. And this is not me trying to slander anyone.
At least Law looks better. I gotta say it.
Luffy,
Law looks better.
no, Law definitely looked better. But if I like Luffy and Zoro barely had any reaction panels. Almost every panel was an action panel. They're doing
Yep.
something.
Even
Law
Killer didn't react as much as Kid did.
Killer is reacting more than Kid did. There's so many panels where
Wait,
Kid is like,
you think Killer reacted more than Kid? I think Kid reacted more than Killer.
I feel like Killer was, actively doing shit more because then
Yeah, no, no, we agree. We agree. We're saying Kid was the reactionary one.
yeah, I probably mixed up the
Yeah,
I do
you
that
did.
sometimes. So like I swear it feels like Kid was sitting back and was talking to Law like, what is Luffy doing? Like, how is he doing this? And it was Law being seasoned the
Veteran.
seasoned spectator
Yep.
saying, "Oh, I spectated in Dressrosa.
I
I
know
can
what he's
go
capable
play by
of.
play, right? I've seen this before. So it's like when I saw that instead of Kid being right there with Luffy doing the same stuff, using that how every time we see like Luffy use that gear third attack, we see Kid use the giant fist as well.
Mm-hmm.
There would be a parallel, but it's like Kid never was in there doing the same things Luffy was doing. So I was like, this is not his
You
time.
know, it
Like
would be great if
so
Kid
late,
gets inspired by Luffy this time, and
that's
in a move, he uses a move with Law that helps take down Big Mom, not kills her, but gets her away from Wano.
right. Exactly. And that's where I'm at. So when I read that, I definitely chuckled. Not because it broke my head canon, but I think it finally,
it
It's just said like, look, guys, Wano's not kid. It's not
Yeah.
for that. Like,
Me and you
first,
thought
I don't.
you convinced me earlier, but this was just like, man, kid
Yeah,
fans, you
yeah.
don't die on this hill. I'm gonna die on the Sanji hill. I can't die on the kid hill.
It's not it's just not there, and it doesn't make sense.
He should be big better than this, man. He really should.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
but just because Luffy's on Pirate King thing, it's gonna take Kid a while to be a Yonko. Like Luffy got fast tracked by training with Rayleigh. Kid, on the other hand, I think by the time Luffy is a Pirate King, Kid will just be getting ready to be the Yonko. Like
yeah.
Law will be ready to be a Yonko, but won't have the crew. Kid will have the crew, but himself isn't ready quite
Right.
yet.
And I mean, and that goes into some other things. Like, I have, for, Parody's purpose, Clown Kid, especially with how Wano in the anime depicted his Conqueror's Hawk. And I said,
Hmm.
they
You were
literally
right. That was
asked
bad.
for eyes. Like, that's what it was. And when you think about it, to your point, yeah, like you can rag on Kid, but Kid did not have Rayleigh to teach him how to use this. So it's
He's
like
learning all
Luffy,
of this about hockey right now with Luffy
yeah.
learning.
Now, granted, Luffy did do more impressive things without training, but those are all accidents under high, intense moments. So, like when Ace died, yeah, he knocked out I don't know how many
This
Marines,
is honestly, this
but
is Kid's
yeah,
Marine Force. Like
yeah,
Law was there towards the end. That's why Law's kind of a little bit better than Kid. But this is his Marine Force. This is him experiencing all the stuff Luffy experienced 2 years ago.
right. And I mean, of course, we don't know how or what kind of scenario had him lose his arm to
But
Shanks.
nothing was as strong as
But I
Marine
no, I
Fort
don't
of
even think there was a
his.
war. Like Shanks
Yeah.
could have just done that straight up, like just speed blitzed Kid and been like, you disrespected me. The
Now get
penalty
out of here.
is, your arm, and then just like be like, get out of here. And like that was literally it. There was no war. He just got overwhelmed.
Hmm.
I don't think Kid or Killer have ever been captured and tortured the way that they are.
Now, yeah.
I do understand why people were saying, okay, well, Kid has a reason to want to kill Kaido because of what happened to Killer, and that is a high tier motivation.
Hmm.
But I remember debating with people like just because someone says that they're here to defeat Kaido doesn't necessarily mean that
They're gonna.
that's their position. Which you
Hmm.
can also use, to counter my point about me saying that, Zoro said he's going to be here to kill
Shit,
Kaido.
Kama wanted to kill Kaido.
I
Like,
mean, so everyone has pretty much said that line. So that in and of itself is not evidence of it. But regardless, when I read that line, I was pleased because one, it does make sense for Kid's character. We have seen that again, Luffy is breaking down the walls of every character that he encompasses. I'm gonna rant a little, not rant, but ramble a little bit. Saburi Archipelago is when Kid respected Luffy for the first time. I think he knew Luffy because it was like he probably looked over the supernovas and said, okay, who here is worth my time? He said,
hmm,
I know Law because we know that, there's some kind of personal history between them two.
they're
He said,
cool.
I know this Luffy guy, but he is the closest bounty to mine. And I hear he's wild, he's crazy. He does whatever he wants. And when you think about it, pre-time skip, that's the same perception that Kid had. He's crazy, he's unhinged, he'll do whatever he wants. So it's Luffy who declares in the auction house, I believe, that he wants to be king of the pirates, or maybe it was when they came out the auction house and were
I think
facing
it's
the
right when
king.
it came out. Yeah.
And it was Kid who like the music stopped, everything stopped, and it was just Kid just looking at Luffy for like 10 seconds in the anime. And then he says, anyone who doesn't have that kind of determination needs to die if they stand. Like, if
Hmm.
you don't have that level of determination, don't even stand in front of me. So you could tell that the anime and the manga was trying to show in that moment, Kid realized, okay, this guy's different. This
Yep.
guy I have to look out for. He's not someone who's given up on a dream. He's willing to spit the craziest ideas and be willing to be laughed at, right? All right. Flash forward, he gets betrayed by Apu. He doesn't believe in alliances anymore, so we get to Udon. Luffy extends an olive branch, has never done anything to
Hurt
anger or
kid.
upset
Yeah.
or hurt the Kid pirates at all. And Kid isn't pissed off about it. He's just, no, I refuse. I'm not doing alliances.
Then Luffy gives up his food to try to save him from drowning.
Right. And at that moment, the key moment about that is that that's right after Luffy took on the virus. So Luffy
Mm-hmm.
been murdered, and Kid said, in exchange for freeing me, I won't kill you right now while you're weak. Which, of course, we know is Kid's like that's the anime Sundere. I don't know how to pronounce it. Trope where they act
Sundari.
Sundari, where they act like they don't like you, but really they're appreciative of what you did. Like we knew that that's who Kid was, right? So
Mm-hmm.
slowly but surely, we see Kid unraveling and opening up to Luffy. On the roof piece, we see Kid complimenting Zoro and Luffy, which is saying like that's not who we would have thought Kid was before.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
now
much
that
so that he was worried when Luffy got out of Gear 4.
right, and so now that we see that Kid was actually concerned, where is Luffy? And now he's happy that Luffy's back and that Luffy's making a declaration and is handling business, right? I think that's character development,
Yeah,
and
I
it's
do too.
great character development for Kid. Um, so I,
Because if they want Kid, because I always said Law and Luffy were gonna be Roger and Whitebeard, but
yeah,
I mean Kid much well could be the Shiki to this, and if he's going to be, they have to have a rapport because Shiki loved Roger,
right.
even though they were a fighting relationship. We can see that with Kid and Luffy,
Yeah.
but he has to respect him first, and now he does.
And it's exactly right because when Roger died, Shiki pulled up to Marineford and was like, "Hell no, I'm getting
No, yeah,
for my rival," and they were like, "Dude, he came here of his own volition."
and he's
So
like, "Nah, I don't believe
it
that,"
totally,
and that's some shit Kid would do.
yeah. If he found out that Luffy died, he'd be like, "I'm here to, murder you guys for my nigga." Like it's really going down like that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he respects him. So I definitely enjoyed that.
And we see
I
Kaido
love,
instantly transform in a hybrid, and Luffy's like,
yep.
Psh, "Bitch,
I
please,
love
I'm
the
ready."
fact that Big Mom is laughing at this point. Like she's no longer saying you'll never defeat that thing. Now she's just like, oh man, that brat's really rambunctious.
Now,
Like
now she's starting to believe it too.
no, and that's the other thing. It's like she's not even being like that darn Kaido. He better save Luffy. I'm the one who was gonna kill. Like she's not even talking like that. She's talking like
Like he's a
someone
Yonko
going
almost.
to the fight. Like she's like, oh Kaido, you better not die because that kid, he's something else. Like I'm gonna come, fight him
I'm next,
myself.
yeah.
He sounds like he's a fun time. So I definitely was appreciating that. I like to see, Tama's reaction, Frankie's reaction, everyone else's reactions, being excited. As you said, Kaido does not waste any time. I am a little bit confused. I've mentioned this before. I don't know why Kaido keeps jumping between forms.
It was
Like,
only because of the Momo thing. That's the only reason why he went dragon.
like obviously it's for plot reason, but it's like you were in hybrid form against your daughter. Momo and Luffy show up, so all of a sudden you decide to power down just to power right back up.
Yep,
So it's like
exactly.
obviously that was for the symbolism. But it is funny that he's like, oh yeah, I'm a dragon, now I'm gonna have to go into hybrid because you're actually, something. So
And
we
it's
get
a big
into
moment. He
the
finally
big
splits the
moment.
sky.
This is what we were talking about in 1010, where we said, can Luffy actually split the sky? Like, yes, he is doing the Roger Whitebeard feat, but is he splitting the sky? Absolutely. Can you now say Luffy is Yonko level? Not influence wise, but I will go
Strength
on the
wise, I'd say yeah.
attack potency wise. Absolutely. If you can split the sky with Hybrid Kaido, you can split the sky
Yeah,
with
that's
with
that does it
Big
now.
Mom, with Shanks, with Whitebeard if he was still alive, with
And I
Rod.
think after this, influence wise, it'll be there because he'll have Wano as a
I
territory.
mean,
He'll have Fishman Island as
he
a
already
territory.
has it. He already has it, but it's like disjointed. You know what I mean? Like he
Hmm.
has 5,000, but does the world actually know that he has 5,000?
Well, now they're gonna know because
Well,
CP0 is gonna tell them.
they're gonna tell him. But then it's like, well, Whitebeard, he'll actually like pull up with his whole fleet because that's how he moves sometimes. Luffy still moves with his 10 core people. So I don't think that Luffy, because he's the main character, he's always going to be on an adventure. At no point are we really going to get like a continuum of Luffy leading his fleet, or are we going to see him like sitting on a throne in Laugh Tale with his entire fleet for prolonged period of time. So he's never really going to move like Kaido, Big Mom, and Shanks, in my opinion. Well, maybe Shanks.
Maybe
But
Shanks I can see, not
Big
but
Mom, Kaido, and
White. Yeah.
Whitebeard, he's probably not going to look like them. But yeah, he's got Fishman Island already as his territory. If we're counting the old world, I wouldn't like say he owns Alabasta, but like if he said like I need y'all to rep for me, like they'll
Got him.
totally throw up the flag.
I
Dress
take Dressrosa,
totally throw up the flag.
Water 7,
Water 7,
and Wano.
Wano,
Oh, Jaya Skypia.
where Chopper's from.
Oh, Drum Island.
All these islands that they've been to will immediately be like, oh yeah, like we're right behind you.
But
So
New World to have Dressrosa, Wano, and Fishman Island's big.
Wano, Fishman Island. Is that it? Yeah, because you don't
That's
count
but
Punk
no
Hazard.
Punk Pass. Yeah,
Don't
you don't
count
count Punk
stuff.
Pass.
So yeah,
Oh shit, I mean you can count Zoe.
I mean you can. Yeah, you can. So when you think of it from that perspective, he definitely has it. And Big News Morgan's gave him publicity.
Yeah.
He told everyone he is the fifth Yonko. So the moment that no matter what happens,
if Kaido, no matter what happens at the end of Wano, he's a Yonko because Kaido went down.
Yonko in Whole Cake. He then went to Whole Cake and survived Big Mom again.
And then went to Wano and beat Kaido. Like to me, that's better if he beat than beating Big Mom. Like
instant
Kaido's
Yonko.
the strongest creature.
Instant Yonko. Like
yep.
If we see a Blackbeard thing after Wano where he's looking at a newspaper, he's not going to be saying, "Oh, it's too early." He's going to be like,
"No, they're going to be like, it's time." I could see it where we get a panel where it's Shanks looking this way, Blackbeard looking this way, and they both say,
"Yeah,
it's time." Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So, love that. Love that Luffy's Conqueror's Haki was so strong. It struck Bao Wang off the top. I thought that was powerful. Yep. And then of course we get Inu beating Perospero and Jack, which is, whatever. Did Perospero get a hole blown through his chest, or was that the top of his hat cut off?
It's tough because Big Mom did the same thing to Ulti earlier in Wano, and we didn't see a hole in her chest.
Well, I definitely see the top of his hat cut off.
Well, yeah, the top of his hat came off, but that could just be that it flew off from the impact. So I don't know yet, but Jack definitely looks like he has a hole through his chest. And I would not
be like his belt's broken.
Well, it looks like his belt is broken, but if he has a beam coming out his back with blood, he got penetrated through his giant belt buckle. Pause. But with that being said, like I'm perfectly fine with Perospero being dead with a hole in his chest because Pedro dying to kill him. So I mean, it's an eye for so from
Inarashi, Jack, they're done, especially Inarashi. I mean, no, Inarashi and Nekomamushi, excuse me. But Neku might be able to fight some more. Jack, no. I mean, Inarashi, no. He's huffing and puffing. He's over.
Jack has to be done because he was already done. He was already on.
Oh, yeah, no. The narrator said both are defeated. They're out of here.
Yeah, he's done.
And then Orochi, you're kidding?
Like, that doesn't surprise me. We all knew Orochi was still alive. But again, Orochi's hiding where?
It's the Dendro
in a shadowy location. Who was shown in silhouette in a shadow?
It's gonna be Denjiro and Hiyori taking on.
We haven't even seen Denjiro, and Oda has not shown the whatever in forever. Like
that's about to happen. But hey, shout out to my Momo theory. It's time to get into the theory portion. Coming true. Momo's gonna save them from falling.
I still don't know how, but with Luffy straight up saying go do it, it's gonna happen. And considering that now I have a better understanding that Momo may not be able to do everything that Kaido can do, but he authentically does have a real dragon body.
In worst case scenario, if to expound on the theory, he'll save everyone in the Flower Capital and just let the Onigashima destroy it. Best case scenario is he picks it up for a little bit for everyone to escape, and then it falls and crashes. But I think the devastation is going to be fall and crashes. Opens with Act 4 as Kaido like, haha, it's all gone. But then he realizes that Momo saves everybody. Kaido flashback time.
Right. I see it happening like that too. Like I said, I'm just interested to see how it's gonna happen. Because I'm still not sure. I know Oda's gonna figure that out.
So all the fights that are left are essentially Queen, King, Big Mom, and Kaido and
And
Orochi.
to be real with you, I still don't think we're getting any Big Mom anytime soon. Like I honestly think. I mean, it's
It's a,
weird though.
it's about
Like,
to be it's about to be Zoro, and that's how I
well,
know we're getting ads because he rushed through Jack, like he rushed through them, and he just showed Orochi just for a little bit. We're about to get full on Jack
we have
and
to.
King. I mean, no, Queen and
Queen and
King,
King versus
Lunarian
Zoro and
and
Sanji.
Mad's backstory. We're about to get them both.
We have to, because I mean we were discussing this before, and this is when we were talking about, is Sanji versus Queen going to be its own thing, and I believe we both agreed that like it's going to be tough to keep us interested if you start too much of the Luffy versus Kaido fight. So I don't think that Oda's done too much yet. Like we haven't seen anything that we didn't see in 1010, right?
Yep.
So I mean, yeah, Momo's there, so like art style visually it looks cool because you have the two dragons. But Luffy didn't do anything spectacular in this chapter that he didn't do in 1010. So
This
you
reminds me of
cross that
Dressrosa
threshold.
when they did the clash, and then right after the clash, he went to everyone else's battle, and then came back to Luffy and
Right,
Doflamingo.
right. So I'm hoping we don't get too much more of Luffy versus Kaido right now. Like, please go back to Zoro and Sanji
Or
versus.
Big Mom and Kid in Law, one of them.
I'm
Oh, we
cool with
still
that,
do have
but
Killer and
again,
Hawkins. That's next. I'm letting. That's definitely next.
ooh, I forgot. Yeah, we're talking about tiers of fights.
That's coming in. I could see next week
Oh,
being.
please don't give me Raizo Fuguro
Yeah,
Kujo.
there you go. I think next week is that, and then the start of Killer and Hawkins, and then we get to Sanji Zoro, and then Kill Kid in Law, because we still have
No,
those two
no.
bullshit battles
No.
first.
There's no way Oda offs Jack and then gives Fuguro Kujo
We're
screen
gonna
time.
see it. We're gonna see the one shot. We're definitely gonna see the one shot, and then we're gonna get. I think next week opens
Look,
with Fukuro Kujo. We get two panels of that fight. Then just because Oda loves ninjas in this, he loves that Wano shit. He's gonna show that Fukuro Kujo is gonna die and or get beaten, and then we're gonna start Killer and Hawkins.
it better happen like that. Look, if we're gonna get Raizo and Fuguro Kujo, it
That's
needs
happening. Mhm.
half a chapter and that's it.
That's
No
happening. We get at
more.
least half a chapter for
End
sure.
it. End,
Mm.
like, please end it. Like, again, I get it because I mean I was kind of polling my Twitter to see how are people feeling about like Jack being taken care of in this way. And to me, I don't care. Like
I don't
Jack,
care.
to me, is an extension of the Toby Ropo.
Yeah,
If we're being,
Fukuro. Yeah,
and my opinion on Toby Ropo is that they're all sacrificial pawns to make the Straw Hats look good. So I don't care that Jack was taken out like that. He was never, as we were talking earlier, supposed to be portrayed like King and Queen. King and Queen would have never relied on Caesar to poison. I mean, granted, Queen wouldn't need to because Queen's smart enough to have
yep.
made it himself.
King would have just
But
set Zoe on fire.
King would have, yeah, would have just set it on fire, beat everyone down physically himself. Jack, ran away and said, "Give me some poison, Caesar." So he never had the same portrayal.
But if
But
we start seeing Fukuro Kujo for two chapters, I'm gonna be
no,
pissed.
no, no. Please stop.
Yeah,
No.
okay, so this is how I'm thinking. Half a chapter next week, Fukuro Kujo. Half a chapter, Killer and Hawkins, with a little with a little either Zoro Sanji or Kaido, Luffy or Kid Law and Big Mom. And then the week after, we're going straight to Sanji Zoro or Kid Big Mom, whichever one Oda wants to do first. But I think you got to do Zoro Sanji, Kid, and I mean Killer. I mean Zoro, Sanji, King, and Queen first before you do Big Mom, Kid, and Law. I would assume,
You
unless you do the
definitely.
Big Mom shit just to get her out of Wano, and then go back to King, Queen, Law. I mean King, Queen, Zoro, and Sanji.
I'm still to this day mixed up on my feelings on the Big Mom situation because I feel like she's written where she has a plot line with
Of her
Loki
own.
and Elbaf, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, Elbaf does seem like a decent transition soon after Wano, if it's not literally the next island. But at the same time that I'm perfectly fine with all of the foreshadowing to the Giants and Big Mom having history and that being, paid off in Elbaf,
I want Blackbeard to take her out.
it's the same thing. Like, how would we really feel about a Yonko chasing the Straw Hats for 3 arcs?
That would
Like,
be too much.
especially when it was initiated in Fishman Island. Like,
And
Big
if
Mom
you want
wanted
to
to
make
take Luffy out.
Blackbeard have one on Luffy, Blackbeard took out the strongest man. Luffy took out the strongest creature, but Blackbeard also took out Big Mom.
Right.
And
And
that's
then
how you make
there's
him.
a multitude of ways to do that. Like, you can have like Blackbeard saying like it's time and he's going after
He already
Luffy.
beat
But then
Katakuri.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, he realizes that, oh, Big Mom has been battling Luffy and Luffy just beat Big Mom, or she wasn't able to beat Luffy. They beat Kaido. So she's preoccupied with that. So it's definitely the best time to go take care of Whole Cake. Big Mom says, okay, Luffy's going to Elbaf. I need to regroup. My whole pirate crew is gone. Big Mom's
Mm-hmm.
riling solo right now, along with Para, who should be either dead or out of the game. So I can see Big Mom going back to Whole Cake and realizing that it's either devastated and Blackbeard is still there,
Or
and
she
so
gets on like
her
let's
out.
say she gets on the phone and she's with Smoothie and is like, we're going after Straw Hat, and Smoothie's like, Mama, Katakuri's on the phone, and it's like, Mom, like and she's
Yeah,
like, Mama, and Blackbeard takes and it's like, ha ha ha, and she's like, what are you doing? And she has to rush back there instead
right,
of going to Elbath.
right.
That would be good writing.
Like, I could see that too, where Oda is acknowledging, yes, Big Mom does still have history in Alabama, so she does have an intention to go there. I'm not dropping the ball with that. But we're not gonna have her chasing the Straw Hats for 3 entire arcs. We are gonna have her defeated by Blackbeard. Then that also makes Blackbeard look good in the worst way,
Mm-hmm.
because Blackbeard never really beat someone legitimately. Like, he killed Whitebeard because he pulled up on
And
Whitebeard
then
when Whitebeard
now
was
he
pretty
he
much
killed Big
dying.
Mom because she
He,
pulled up when she was weakened. And
right.
then if you want to bring Katakuri back into the story to meet Luffy, like you
And
foreshadowed,
yeah,
that's how you do it.
are you
Blackbeard took
coming back? Right. I don't see him as a part of the alliance. I see him like Bellamy, where he's like, I
we're
will
friends.
help you. We have a
Mhm.
common goal. I'm not going to become a straw hat,
I could
but
even see
I'm
if you
here.
want
Yeah,
Luffy to learn Awakening.
yeah,
I love this theory of Katakuri training him before, like Katakuri's like, I know you beat Kaido, but to beat Blackbeard, you're gonna need a little bit more.
yeah.
He trains him in Awakening.
I love that. As soon as you said it, I didn't even have the theory, and I filled it in. As you, I was like, oh, yep, nope, I love it. I love it because Katakuri is already like end of series. Well, not end of series because Luffy's gonna be way stronger. Already is way stronger, but he basically reminded us all of adult Luffy,
Yep.
basically,
And then that
because
way you give him a
yeah,
reason for one to help him. And that
yeah,
way you don't have to make Katakuri choose because Big Mom's already out of here because of Blackbeard. They have a common enemy. You train him in his awakening since it's similar to yours. Boom. He goes to meet Blackbeard and or Shanks before, whatever, however you want to do that. And then he's ready to fight whoever.
and is the best sparring partner for Luffy because how
Mm-hmm.
many people do we know are confirmed future sight users?
It's
Uh,
not that many.
so
And you don't make him have an awakening, him say, when will you come back, and all of this, him be friendly with Luffy if you don't utilize that later on.
right, and like I always make parallels to Dragon Ball because it's just one of my favorite things. But it reminds me of a scenario where I think about situations like where I said, you could argue that Zoro's stronger than Luffy right out of the post time skip because Luffy had to climb that ladder to get where he's at. Zoro, had an easy time, but then he gets and he performs almost the same as Luffy on the rooftop, right? So then you could say, okay, well, if we flip the script here, then, you know, um, would Katakuri be able to say, okay, well, Luffy, yeah, you beat, this stronger opponent, but I need to further teach you how to use your skill set so that you can further. I don't even know how
Growth.
to.
Or so you think you can really beat Blackbeard?
I mean, yeah, you can beat Blackbeard, but it's like, okay, you have these hockey blooms, and Luffy, the way that he's training right now, how would he actually like train his future sight unless he knows someone else
To have it,
to
yeah.
counter that, and then he can also watch. Because if you think about it, Luffy versus Katakuri, at some point Luffy came and he was like, "No, I'm going to beat your ass." Then it turned into, "Oh shit, you're significantly better than me. I want to learn from you." And then he
Yep.
tells Brule, "Huh, like I need to beat Katakuri." And Brule, like I think, rambles something, and so then Luffy catches on, and Brule's like, "Oh, you're not like some brainless idiot. You're actually
Mm-hmm.
through." Then Luffy comes back, and we see that mutual respect moment. And by the end, we have Brule saying, she cares for Luffy because she watched Luffy bring out the best in Katakuri.
Katakuri, yep.
This is the point I was trying to make. So Katakuri was telling Luffy, he's never been knocked on his back. He's never really taken damage. But Luffy's not, at that point, didn't have Future Sight, didn't have Rio. He's
Mm-hmm.
not really a top tier. Like, you could say Luffy wasn't even top 50 at that point. So who was Katakuri fighting if no one could knock him on his back? So the point that I was trying to make is maybe being knocked down on his back by Luffy and then hypothetically being beaten down by Blackbeard will force Katakuri to train kind of like Frieza. And so my bringing up Dragon Ball is like, if Katakuri, we know he trained as a kid because he had to become
But
unbeatable.
that's his Zenkai boost almost.
But what if, yeah, like what if that was an awakening for him, and he was like, I've gotten too like
Too
complacent.
soft,
I
yeah.
still, was so high. I was a big fish in a small pond. Parallel to Mihawk talking to Zoro. He saw Zoro. He said, "Oh yeah, you're big shit here in the East Blue. You're
Mm-hmm.
frog." Katakuri strikes me as a higher tier version of that. He's a big shark in a pretty decent pool, but there's still an ocean out there
Yeah, he just got
that
complacent.
touch that. So by suffering defeat by Luffy and then possibly suffering defeat by Blackbeard, maybe Katakuri trains, he gets a major jump. And so whenever he comes and spars with Luffy, he's like,
It's an
yeah, I can
equal
tell
partner.
you're strong. You've gotten significantly stronger. I see how you even surpassed me and beat, Kaido, but that's not going to cut it much longer.
Yeah, that's not gonna cut it against Blackbeard and
Or
what your face to come.
another Dragon Ball reference. If you watch the Tournament of Power, Master Roshi showed Goku how to battle Jiren. He had
Yep.
no business battling Jiren, but because he was so proficient in technical skills,
Yep.
he was able to demonstrate something. So Katakuri is not Luffy level anymore. The same way that Roshi is not Goku level, but Roshi
But
can still
they'll
teach
teach.
circles
Yep.
around Goku.
And then the way I'm
Katakuri,
thinking is Blackbeard's devil fruit negates devil fruits, but does it negate the world around you? If Luffy turns it to rubble world, does Blackbeard's fruit negate that? And I think that'd be a good way to
I think
slow
that
Blackbeard down.
I think that boils down to hockey. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is the deciding factor. Now, I don't know how Awakening works with it, but if specifically his black hole techniques negate devil fruits, then it is the anti devil fruit. So the only way to beat the anti devil fruit
Is with
is
strong hockey.
another anti devil fruit technique, which is hockey.
Yep. So we're gonna see, man. That's gonna be interesting to see what happens with Big Mom and with Kaido and all this interesting stuff. But that's pretty much all we got this week. Looks like Christian might have froze. I don't know if he's gonna pop back up. He might have froze. If he did, you guys can follow him at Hollinger94. Follow his art page at Arch Season, and you can follow me at LynBWT. We will be back next week with another video, and we might have a Kaiju number 8 video for you guys around Thursday. Be sure to check that out. But other than that, that's pretty much all we got for this week. I love how my guys looking. Y'all make sure y'all follow me, and we'll talk to you soon. Until then, peace.